I'm Susanna Calvert. I'm the founder and convener for Mission and Vision for the Foundation for Family and Community Healing. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm so glad to see you all as usual. The mission of the foundation is to help everyone learn to create healthy and rewarding relationships with ourselves, each other, Earth, and the loving force that unites us. And on this series, we are focusing on our relationship with Earth and being the Earth healers that we already are. So I'm going to hand it over to Faith now to tell us a bit more about the series and to introduce our meditation leader for the evening.
Thanks, Susanna. Hi, and I'm the healing convener for FFCH, and so happy to be here. This is about the second month we've been doing this, and or maybe even the third, and it's really building momentum. And so we have our earth healing meditations every second and fourth Monday at 6:30 p.m. We are looking for a volunteer for the 10th of April. If anybody feels so inclined, we would love to talk to you about that and bring you on board. It feels really good to do these meditations. We can just feel Earth, take a deep sigh of relief and say, oh man, more friends. So I would like to tell you about our meditating, our facilitator for the meditation tonight, Amory Fischer. And I think we're in for a real treat because this gentleman has had such a deep and profound relationship since childhood with nature. Amory grew up with his father reading Thoreau to him and growing up with a mother who was an animal rights activist. And Amory was able to hear wolves howling at night on the property he grew up with when he was little. And he has a memory that I just loved about fireflies being so thick that they were as thick as stars. And he remembers walking through them and having that impression. When I was talking to Amory, he also talked about a perspective that was a little foreign to him. It's that integration theme with nature. And the thing with Amory, he's never seen or felt the disconnect with nature. And so I'm just so happy, Amory, that you volunteered to speak up for Mother Earth, and can't wait to journey with you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Please.
Thank you, Faith and Susanna, for the introduction. And if you hear my cat meowing, I apologize for that. And thank you to the Foundation for Family and Community Healing for hosting these meditations. I've been participating since they started and was inspired to host one after there was a call for volunteers, like you just heard. I was raised to value being part of nature, not above it or outside it, and to find connections between us and our non-human neighbors. Appreciating Earth's beauty comes easily for most in examples like a sunset or dew shining through a spider's web, but understanding how we are connected beyond that often takes more learning and observation. I was recently watching a flock of shorebirds argue over who got to sit on the tallest post on an old dock, and it was a friendly reminder that humans are not so different. I also recently read Mama's Last Hug, which is a book about primate behavior, and I recommend it. The book's name comes from an interaction between an old chimpanzee matriarch named Mama giving a hug to one of the scientists that helped her community raise their young by teaching them to use bottles when they couldn't breastfeed. Again, we're not so different. Understanding this connection with the earth has given me also a lot of anxiety about the current relationship humanity has with the rest of the natural world. And I hope to explore both of these themes in this meditation tonight. This is also the first meditation that I've led, and so I hope you enjoy it. If everyone would please close your eyes and relax in whatever position you find most comfortable. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take 3 more deep breaths to settle in. Settle into a rhythm of calm, deep breathing. Mentally disconnect from whatever else is physically going on around you. Lower the internal volume of the noise of the day, the pressing questions, the to-do lists, the demands on your time, until it is at 0 and you can find internal quiet. Release the tension in your muscles. Start with your neck, move down to your shoulders, to your chest, your arms and hands, your stomach, your hips, your legs and your feet. Notice the beating of your heart. If you wish, place a hand over your heart. Your body will find comfort in the heat your hand gives to your heart. Now go in your mind to a tranquil place in the outdoors that you know well. Open your senses to what it has to offer. Note what you hear. Maybe you hear birds or water or the wind in the trees. What might you smell? Maybe you smell dirt or salty air or pine. What do you feel? Maybe you feel the breeze or the sunshine on your skin. Take note of all of your non-sight sensations as they come to you. Now, what do you know about this place? Below you, there may be topsoil and bedrock and aquifer. If you go far enough, eventually there is the edge of grand pieces of earth slowly moving on the planet's core. You know that above you, the atmosphere we rely on to breathe and live stretches for about 60 miles, and past that is the deep vastness of space and its untold stories. You know that you are not the first individual to be in this place. Who, human or non-human, has been here before in the past year, 100 years? How about in the last era of geologic time? How did you come to find this place? Bring yourself back to your breathing and your heartbeat. Think about what blessings you have received from the earth today. Air and oxygen produced by growing things, clean water filtered through rain and soil, sunshine that lifts our spirits and brings life to our world. Food nourished by the sun and nutrients in the soil, harvested and brought to you by human hands. And shelter, built from wood and rock and metal, that keeps you safe in your day-to-day. We have the earth to thank for all of these gifts, and we graciously receive them. We acknowledge everyone among us to whom the earth is no less generous, but human systems prevent from benefiting from the full bounty of the earth. We acknowledge that we each have a role in ensuring equity among our human community in sharing these gifts. As we think on the origin of these gifts, we must also remember that this is a reciprocal relationship with the earth. As we receive, we too must give back to the earth. We give the breath we exhale back to become sugars in plants. We give our energy in cultivating sustainable living. One day, we will give our bodies as our dust returns to its source. We know in many ways that the earth is now in pain. We see around us the land deforested and waters polluted. We see the effect that this has on our human and non-human communities. Let us listen now, as a friend would, to what healing the earth needs. Let us sit with her side by side and acknowledge that pain. That her pain is our pain. What fellow species are endangered? What habitats have been lost? Let us give a moment of silence for these passings. Now, as the earth asks of you, think about where you can use your voice or your daily example to bring protection and balance to the interconnected systems that support both us and her. There don't have to be answers right now, but be open and listen for her inspiration. Now, I'd like to share with you a place that I go in the natural world during meditation. Please imagine with me. You are in a tamarack and wild blueberry bog of northern Wisconsin in August. It's a comfortable, cool temperature. The bog is situated in the heart of over 200,000 acres of forest land. Soft-needled tamarack grow out of sphagnum moss, which is so thick and deep it feels like walking on a firm sponge. This is an old place. It was once walked by the Ojibwe people, and before them, the glaciers. The glaciers carved out lakes in their path. Then peat and eventually moss filled in those lakes year after year with so many layers that the lake turned into the bog we find ourselves in today. You can walk and run and sit and lay down in the moss, and it is better than any mattress you could buy. The place smells of green and growing things, and the oxygen is so rich you can feel it in your lungs. The trees, usually filled with birdsong, are quiet and still as birds tend to their newly hatched chicks and avoid bringing attention to themselves. To your right, you see wild cranberries and blueberries, tiny blue and red dots against dark green leaves. You pick and eat some, and they burst with tart flavor. On your left, you see signs of your neighbor, the black bear, who loves these berry patches just as much as you do. You see footprints and scat and a place where the bear had obviously rolled around in the moss in delight, just like a cat playing with their human. You know that surrounding you for miles and miles is forest and marshlands and farm fields. In this wilderness, beaver build their lodges, gray wolves roam with their pack, and humans grow their hay and oats. You know this place because of a foundation would not do well on acres of spongy moss, will likely never be developed. You know that the state of Wisconsin has marked this land as a priority to protect due to the ecosystem services it provides. Another way to say gifts from the earth. Breathe in and feel the certainty of this place and the sunshine dappling your body through the tamarack trees. Now bring yourself back to the place you chose in the natural world. In your mind's eye, look around you at the wonders of the world we live in. and the beautiful ecosystems that exist. Notice the shapes of things, their texture, their colors, depth, shading, and their movements. How does the light play off of them? How does the wind change them? Take a moment to fill your heart with the wholeness of life thriving around you. Remember and be grateful for the gifts that you have received from the earth today. Resolve to live graciously and reciprocally with her in return. And when you are ready, open your eyes and find yourself back in the safety of your home.
Are you sure that's your first time?
Yeah, I've led prayer in a different context before, but this is the first meditation.
Oh,
Thank you all.
Thank you.
just beautiful.
That was so beautiful, Amory. I just felt myself like swimming among the fish and flying among the birds at the end. It was just so beautiful. And the places he took us on our visual journey was just so lovely and immersive, especially the bog. That was just, I felt like I was visiting there. Thank you
I'm
so
glad. Would anyone else like to share where they went?
I went back to this huge hill behind my elementary school, which was, well, where I went to school after moving to DC from Hawaii. And I realized why it meant so much from me. Suddenly it was having that space and sunshine and wind again. And yeah, that was really special. Thank you. That was really valuable.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Mm.
Well, that was just such a treat, Amory, and we're so lucky to get to experience the richness of your first meditation you were leading. Thank you for your braveness in doing this on a recording your first time. I'm sure I would not have had that much courage. Thank you all for attending tonight, and just want to remind you that our next Become an Earth Healer meditation is 2 weeks from tonight, and our dear Al Moore, with that beautiful circle behind him, will be leading next time. Gosh, and we have a meditation next Monday as well. Faith will be leading on healing our body. I forget the title of it. Faith, do you want to tell us what the?
Yeah, just Just healing separation.
Healing separation, yes. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you at a future event.